The price of ambition, murder, money, and life. Hi, I'm Anna Kohl. I'm 34 years old, and this is my story, a story I never intended to tell. But the weight of it has become unbearable, and the truth demands to be set free. I was born in a small village near Munich, the daughter of a schoolteacher and a seamstress. Life was simple, predictable. I always wanted more, a life of glamour, power, and respect. By 26, I had climbed the corporate ladder to become the youngest marketing executive at a prestigious Berlin firm. Ambition was my driving force, and I thought I was unstoppable. But success has a way of turning you into a target. It began on a crisp November morning. I was sipping coffee at my desk when an email from an unknown sender appeared in my inbox. The subject line read, "We need to talk. Tonight, 9 p.m., Riverfront Cafe." I deleted it, thinking it was spam. But the second email came minutes later, accompanied by a photo of me leaving my apartment that very morning. My blood ran cold. The message was clear. I was being watched. Curiosity and fear led me to the cafe that night. I arrived early, choosing a seat by the window so I could see everyone who came in. At exactly 9 p.m., a man in his late 40s approached my table. He was sharp-dressed, with piercing blue eyes that seemed to see straight through me. "Anna Kohl," he asked, though he already knew. "Yes." "Who are you?" "Jacob Schneider," he said, sliding into the chair opposite me. "I'm here to make you an offer." "I'm not interested," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "You will be," he said, leaning forward. "I know everything about you, your promotions, your deals, and the backdoor negotiations that got you where you are. If I wanted, I could destroy you. But I don't." I froze. How did he know? No one was supposed to know. "What do you want?" I asked. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You've built quite a reputation, Anna, but ambition comes with enemies. I can protect you. I can make sure your past stays buried, and your future is even brighter. But in return, you'll do a few favors for me." "Favors?" I asked warily. Jacob's voice dropped to a whisper. "Discreet tasks. You'll find I reward loyalty handsomely." I should have walked away. I should have reported him to the police. But greed and fear are powerful motivators. I nodded, sealing my fate. The first task was simple: deliver an unmarked package to a man named Victor Hartmann. Jacob assured me it was harmless, a business matter. But when Victor was found dead 2 days later, I knew I was in over my head. "Was it you?" I demanded when I confronted Jacob. "Does it matter?" he replied calmly. "You didn't ask questions when I paid off your debts last week. Or when I secured that promotion for you. Do you really want to start asking questions now?" I didn't. But the tasks became darker. Laundering money, leaking confidential information, and eventually setting up meetings that I knew would end in bloodshed. Every step deeper into Jacob's world cost me a piece of my soul. By the time I turned 32, I was no longer the bright-eyed woman who had dreamed of success. I was complicit in things I couldn't even speak of, bound to Jacob by guilt, fear, and greed. The breaking point came when Jacob asked me to retrieve a ledger from a rival, a ledger that documented every crime he had ever committed. "Get it," he said, "and you'll finally be free of me." It sounded too good to be true, but I couldn't resist the chance to escape. The rival, a woman named Lydia Engel, was as cunning as Jacob. She saw through me immediately. "You're his pawn," she said, handing me the ledger without resistance. "But you'll never be free. He'll always find a way to pull you back in." Her words haunted me as I handed the ledger over to Jacob. Weeks later, Jacob summoned me to an abandoned warehouse. He was waiting, the ledger open on the table. "You did well," he said, his tone almost affectionate. "But there's one final loose end. What do you mean? I asked, dread coiling in my stomach. He slid a gun across the table. Lydia Engel. She knows too much. Handle it. I stared at the gun, my mind racing. I can't. You will, Jacob interrupted, his voice cold. Or I'll make sure you take her place. That night, as I stood outside Lydia's apartment with a gun in my trembling hand, I realized something. All my life, I had chased success, believing it would bring me happiness and fulfillment. But every step of the way, I had sacrificed pieces of myself, my values, my integrity, and now, potentially, someone else's life. I couldn't do it. Instead, I knocked on her door and told her everything. Lydia listened in silence, her sharp eyes assessing me. Finally, she spoke. You don't have to be his pawn anymore. Help me expose him. For the first time in years, I felt a glimmer of hope. Together, we gathered the evidence, Jacob's ledger, emails, and records of his crimes. It was dangerous work, but the thought of finally doing the right thing gave me strength. We anonymously leaked everything to the authorities. Jacob was arrested within days, his empire crumbling around him. I knew I wasn't free of guilt. I would carry the weight of my choices forever. But by helping to bring him to justice, I had taken the first step toward redemption. Today, I live a simpler life, far from the corporate world I once idolized. I work with a nonprofit, helping young women find ethical paths to success. If my story teaches anything, it's this. Ambition is not worth the price of your soul. True success lies in staying true to your values, no matter how difficult the road may seem. Ambition without integrity leads to destruction. True fulfillment comes from living a life aligned with your values, even when the path seems harder or less glamorous.